What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 70, everybody. Today's episode will be my tight end week 4 stardom, sit-em, every single matchup. I am going to give you more crazy stats on this video. I'm trying to up my game, bring you guys the best content I can. Before we dive into it, guys, smash that like, turn that bell on, hit that subscription button. All the support has been amazingly appreciated across all the platforms, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. The journey has been amazing, and you guys are all part of it. It has been awesome to see all the comments and every one of you come to the live streams. I can't thank you guys enough. And we will be live from Thursday to Monday this week, helping you guys with everything you need. All different people on the shows. I'll be on different shows. And if you guys cannot make the live streams, always you can drop any single question you want in the comments for fantasy football. Does not have to pertain to this video. And I will try to answer everything possible that I can to help you guys win your weekly matchups and get you that ultimate goal of a championship, guys. And let's dive into the tight ends, if we can pull off the crazy tight end positions. So here's my tight end board for week 4, guys. If you are new to the channel, the top team is always the away team. The bottom team is always the home team. And I always like to be transparent and show my work from last week. So before we dive into the Thursday night football game we got tonight between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, I will show you my calls from last week. And I like to keep up with my start sits and keep track my percentage, because transparency is one of my favorite things for you guys as a content creator. So this is my tweet from last week. My stardom sit-ems, man, I absolutely crushed the tight end position, and it's the hardest one to do. So I had Dalton Kincaid, Goddard, Zach Ertz, and Ferguson on the start. Kyle Pitts missed it by 1 point. I would have been a perfect 10 of 10 here on the tight ends. On my sit-ems, the star is a top 10 tight end overall in points. I had Isaiah Likely on a sit, Schultz, Jonnu Smith, Colby Parkinson, and Pat Freiermuth. 9 out of 10 guys, 90%. And since this is my last start sit video, I will be tracking and showing you my total overall. So my week 3 combined was 24 out of 40. It was 60%. I really had a bad week versus running backs and wide receivers this week. I had a great first 2 weeks, but you can't get them all, man. I struggled this week at running back and wide receiver. And if you check the other videos, you can see the post on there as well. Now, through all 3 weeks combined, I am 75 for 119 on my start sits. That is 63%. I was at 63% last year, so I need to step it up. That's what I carried over all through 17 weeks last year. I want to be around the 70% range, so I will be better, guys. Now, this is where you want to get your screenshots ready for this video. Shout out to my guy, Big Draft Energy, a co-host on my show. I join his show all the time as a co-host as well. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we talk everything fantasy football, and he does a lot of behind-the-scenes work, guys. And especially if you like, say you like gambling or best ball or pick'ems or whatever it is here. So this is his tweet. Sorry, I messed up the icons behind it. This is his tweet right here for the tight ends with the most advantageous matchup for receptions, right? So we know that Baltimore's defense is very pass leaky, 100%. So Dalton Kincaid is an absolute smash play. You have Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Pat Freiermuth, Kyle Pitts. Sam Laporta is banged up, so I'd watch out there. Kyle Pitts, Johnny Munt, Jawan Johnson, Eric All, Chigga Conklin. This could be Mike Gesicki as well. These are the most receptions base for a defense that tight ends get weekly. So these are the best top 10 for receptions in this week 4. Now, this is another tweet from my guy, Big Draft Energy. Go check his Twitter. Go check his YouTube. My guy is an absolute genius. Here's another one for you. This is the most advantageous receiving touchdown. So this is all the touchdowns that the defense has had through the first 3 weeks against them. This is your touchdown with the best opportunity upside, or best tight end with opportunity upside to get a touchdown. So you have Eric All here versus Carolina. That's the top, because Carolina gives up so many touchdowns to the tight end. Cole Kmet, Mutt, Tucker Kraft, Freiermuth, Mark Andrews. Got the bounce back game for Andrews. Looks here, guys, that they struggle against the tight end. It looks here, but he's got to play. Tyler Conklin, Colby Parkinson, Dalton Schultz, Evan Ingram. If he's out there, Ingram still didn't practice on Wednesday, so we don't know there yet. Now we're finally to the Thursday game here. Thursday night tonight, the Dallas Cowboys are headed into the New York Giants. And my guy, my number 1 target in all of my videos and all of my drafts, has finally shown up. Jake Ferguson got hurt in week 1, and he had 5 targets in the first quarter before he got hurt. And then you saw last week, bang, bang against the Ravens. He had 11 targets, guys. He is Dak's boy. This is a must-start weekly tight end. I could possibly see him finishing as a top 5, top 3 tight end right now with how this position is going this year. And the New York Giants defense here. So I told you I'm going to give you all the stats on it, right? So currently, right now, the New York Giants defense is giving up 26.8 points per game to the tight end. That ranks 17th. They've allowed 17 targets to the tight end position over 3 games, but where they're stingy at, this is a kind of a weird one here. The outlier, I guess I'd say, is they are number 1 in the red zone. They have allowed 0 fantasy points to the tight end in the red zone on the season. That's kind of risky here, but I'm still starting Jake Ferguson either way. Heading to the New York Giants, and this one I'm going to keep putting in yellow. I mean, you can't start him, obviously, right? He's a rookie. He's getting his feet wet. But here's what's interesting, guys. Right now, Theo Johnson is the number 7 overall usage tight end in fantasy football or in the NFL. So that's what you want. You want volume. He's averaging 82% of the snaps. He never comes off the field. The connection will get better. And he was damn good at Penn State, man. But the matchup versus the Cowboys is tough. The Cowboys are very good versus the tight end. They as well have allowed 0 red zone points to the tight end on the season. That's tied for first with the New York Giants. They give up 19.5 points to the tight end position on the season. That ranks 9th. And they've only given up 12 targets to the position on the season. So I don't like starting tight ends versus the Cowboys. But Theo Johnson is someone to keep your eye on the waiver wire because volume is king and he's out there. And the rapport is going to get better with Danny Dimes. And, you know, Neighbors is always going off. He'll start to draw more attention, should open things up for Theo. And he's very athletic, man. He was one of my, I loved him at Penn State. So I love that he's out there getting a ton of usage. I just want to see him get more involved. And I think that will happen. He is a rookie and just someone to keep your eye on here. The New England Patriots are headed in to face Fred Warner and the 49er defense. And for Hunter Henry, who I've liked as a sleeper call all year this year at Draft Capital, this is going to be a tough one here for him. Going up against the San Francisco 49ers defense, who ranks 2nd versus the tight end, only allowing 9.9 points to the position on the season. They also allow 0 in the red zone, tied with Washington Commanders, Atlanta Falcons, Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, Vegas Raiders. There's a bunch of them that allow 0 in the red zone so far. We're only 3 weeks in. Little data there on that. But, you know, you're not going to play this guy against Fred Warner 100%. They've only allowed 10 targets on the season, 6 receptions. It's really, really rough. 39 yards. Not going to go well here for Hunter Henry this week. Now, George Kittle on the other side, practice limited on Wednesday. Good sign for him to play. Again, if you own him, pay attention to the injuries coming throughout the week. Thursday and Friday are the big days. And if you get a limited practice in Wednesday, I think you're good to go. He is also in the top 10 of snap share with Hunter Henry as well. And Hunter Henry, man, he's literally 5th in targets too. So it could be an outlier game of maybe where he gets, you know, a couple tons of passes because they're playing from behind. But I still don't like the matchup versus the 49ers defense. Now, for the Kittle side here, the New England Patriots defense currently right now ranks 18th, allowing 26.8 fantasy points per game to the tight end, or total on the season to the tight end position. They've allowed 0.3 in the red zone, 13 receptions to the tight end position, 158 yards. So George Kittle has a plus matchup here, and you're probably going to have Debo out, and you're going to have Ayuk and Jennings out there. So George Kittle should be an absolute smash play here against the New England Patriots this week. The Denver Broncos and Bo Nix are headed in to face Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And I don't know what the Broncos are doing here, man. Greg Dulcich was like one of my guys I was looking forward to breaking out. Had 8 targets the week before in week 2 and then gets to 0, is not hurt, and plays 27% of the snaps. The Broncos are rotating wide receivers, rotating tight ends, rotating running backs. They can't figure out what's going on here. And going up against the Jets defense right here, guys. So this is the Jets numbers versus the tight end right now. The New York Jets have given up 21.7 points to the tight end position on the season, 18 targets, 12 receptions, 97 yards, so about 30 yards per game. And they've also given up a 0 in the red zone as well. So they are tied for first in that situation. So they're very, very good versus the tight end here. Now, when I head to Tyler Conklin's side, this is a startable matchup for Tyler Conklin right here. So the Denver Broncos pass defense, if you look at it on paper, it's going to show they average 130 yards a game. That's number 1. But where do they struggle? That's covering the wide receivers, guys. Where do they struggle is versus the tight end. Cade Otton had 7 receptions last week versus the Denver Broncos because they couldn't find a wide receiver open. Tyler Conklin now gets to go up against them. This is going to be a run-heavy game for the Jets and a Tyler Conklin game at tight end position. I love all his props, everything about him. But let me show you now the Denver Broncos defense versus the tight end position this season. So the Denver Broncos currently are 26th in the red zone, giving up 9.2 points to the tight end. So you can see a big touchdown play here coming possibly for Tyler Conklin in this game. They've given up 30 points on the season to the position. That's 21st. They've allowed 18 targets, 15 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. So this is a very, very good plus matchup here for Tyler Conklin where you don't really get a lot of production from tight end. This could be a big game for him. And on the other side, Tyler Conklin is playing 92% of the snaps, guys. He never comes off the field. Volume is king, and he's second behind K. Dot and now also as well. They're both tied at 90. Well, I guess they're tied for first, you could say. So I really, really like the Tyler Conklin play this week. If you need a tight end start, I think he's going to smash this week. All the numbers would lead to it. The 0-3 Jacksonville Jaguars are headed into the Houston Texans, and they need a big win to save going from 0-4, man. They need to get Evan Ingram back out there healthy. So as of right now, he didn't practice Wednesday. You could put Brenton Strange up here if you want, if he's out. I don't like starting Brenton Strange, especially in this matchup, guys. So the Houston Texans defense here versus the tight end is very stingy, man. They're number 6 on the season. They've only allowed 16 points. They've had 14 targets to the tight end position, 7 receptions only. They're very pass deflective. They're very defensive hunting. They've only allowed 30 yards as well. But if Evan Ingram were to be out here, the plus side of the Texans, their weak spot is the red zone versus the tight end. So they allow 7.2 points in fantasy points to the tight end position. That's 22nd. So this could be a big touchdown game here for Evan Ingram if he can get out there. You just need to pay attention to updates because as of right now, he hasn't practiced Wednesday, and I'm not going to put Brenton Strange's name up there. Now, Houston Texans side, Dalton Schultz, I've been saying all year, he's one of the worst picks you can get, but there's a plus side here finally. So last week, he played 92% of the snaps. So the weeks before that, he was at 70, he was at 80. So you did see a little bump in usage, and the game, was out of hand. They were passing more, so you didn't get to run the ball heavy in the game because they're behind in the Vikings. But you get the Jacksonville Jaguars here, and it's kind of the same situation. So the Jacksonville Jaguars defense ranks 10th versus the tight end, 20.1 points given up, only 7 receptions, 71 yards. But they've also given up a touchdown, and they give up 7.6 points in the red zone here. So with how bad the tight end position has been this year, which is astronomically terrible, this is an okay week to throw Dalton Schultz out there. I know he's probably on most wires, not because he hasn't done anything all year, but he did see an uptick in usage. He did see his highest targets with 5 last game, and this is a spot where he can find a red zone touchdown. And that's what he is. He's a TD dependent tight end. And I'm okay with the dart throw this week because the Jacksonville Jaguars are weak in the red zone. You could see him pop one in here. The Sunday night football game of the week, smash tight end play game is here, guys. The Buffalo Bills are headed into the Baltimore Ravens this week. You saw Dalton Kincaid pop off early, get the touchdown, and he looks unbelievably good. But the problem for him is the Bills have blown both teams out here. I'm glad he got that touchdown last week, at least, to save his points for the day and getting over 10 points, which is tough at the tight end position. But I don't think they're going to be blowing this team out like their last 2 matchups. This is going to be a way better battle. Kincaid will be out there 90% of these snaps today. And the Baltimore Ravens defense, man, get ready for this. So not only are they number 1 worst bad versus the wide receivers, like I said in my wide receiver video with how many numbers they give out, the Commanders are worse than them. So the Baltimore Ravens are 31st in both. So tight end position right now, currently, they are giving up 51 points on the season. That ranks 31st, 23 receptions, 280 yards. They also give up 4.4 in the red zone. That ranks 21st. It is not a good defense versus the tight end, guys. And that's why I'm going to put Dawson Knox, because how bad the tight end position is. If you need a dart throw, he could possibly find a red zone touchdown here in this game as well. I mean, I'm not saying smash the start here on him, but the matchup is beautiful. The Ravens are so bad versus the pass all around. It's absolutely terrible, and all of them should eat. Now, I've had Isaiah Likely on a sit-em for 2 weeks straight, guys. I had Mark Andrews on a sit-em last week. And Mark Andrews, I don't know what's going on here. They got to figure something out in Baltimore. But this is a game where I like them both for the first time since week 1. Well, I didn't really have Likely on a smash week 1 like that. But so Mark Andrews still with only 8 targets is crazy. Mark Andrews only played a limited amount of snaps last week with 33%. I know they went run heavy, so they kind of saved him because they had a big lead on the Cowboys. So those numbers are kind of skewed. But in this situation now, you get the Buffalo Bills defense. And Buffalo Bills defense, if you're looking at it as your matchup on paper or on Yahoo or whatever, Sleep or whatever you play on, it's going to look bad, right? But because the Bills defense has been great. But this is their weak spot, guys. The Buffalo Bills defense has given up 36.4 points to the tight end. That's 25th in the NFL. They've given up 18 receptions, 124 yards, a touchdown. And here's the better part, guys. They allow 14.6 points to the red zone. So this is where Mark Andrews and Likely should eat in this game. That is why I like both these plays as starts, because this is the second worst red zone defense only to the Carolina Panthers at the tight end position. So these guys should absolutely feast in this game. It's going to be high scoring, electric, bright light, Sunday night football. I love Kincaid, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely as a smash start this week at the tight end position, and Dawson Knox as a dart throw if you need it. The fraudulent 3-0 Seahawks that have beaten Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson at quarterback in their 3 matchups are headed into their first test of the season against the Detroit Lions and a legit contender team. And this is going to be a sea of red game here, guys. Now, the only reason it's going to, we'll talk about Laporta first here. The only reason it's going to be red here, the matchup looks great for Laporta, right? The Seattle Seahawks, this is their weak point, is the tight end. They give up 3.2 in the red zone. That ranks 20th. They've given up 34.2 points to the position on the season. That ranks 24th. 17 receptions, 172 yards. So it's a plus matchup here, but he got banged up last week. He came in late. We haven't seen minimal practice this week. I think it's going to happen. He has a low ankle sprain, and I don't like it in this game with that happening. I think he's going to be more of a decoy out there. Now, on the Noah Fant side, you can he should be on your waiver wire anyways, but you should chalk this up to a red. The Detroit Lions are amazing versus the tight end this season, giving up 0 points in the red zone. That's number 1. 15.9 on the season. That's number 5, and only 83 yards total in the season with no touchdowns. They are a very good front 7, guys. The Detroit Lions are weak in the wide receiver game. If you watched my video before, this should be a smash DKJ season game, possibly lock it here as well, but not the tight ends in this game, guys. Another sea of red tight end game here, guys. We got the Monday Night Football. Tennessee Titans headed into the Miami Dolphins. You're going to have Chig Okonkwo versus Jonnu Smith. Chig hasn't even popped 20 yards this season. Jonnu Smith hasn't even popped over 45% snap share this season, or I think 50% snap share. I think he played 46, so messed that one up there a little bit. I don't like the starts here at all. Will Levis has not been looking at his tight end, and you're up against the Dolphins defense here. The Miami Dolphins defense is kind of mid-tier versus the tight end, but you got to temper it because they're playing without their quarterback, so their defense is out there more last week. But they've given up 0 points in the red zone, so I don't like a red zone TD here at all. They've given up 27 points total to the position. That is 19th, and they've given up 13 receptions for 15 receptions for 120 yards. Don't like this play. Chig should be on your wire. Jonnu Smith's side, I'm still intrigued into pay attention to on the waiver wire. He's going to be there. You get the Tennessee Titans in this matchup, but the Tennessee Titans guys are number 3 versus the tight end. But their weak spot is the red zone. They've given up 1.4. That's 17th in the red zone. Only 10 fantasy points to the tight end position on the season. That ranks 3rd. 6 receptions and 40 yards. It is an absolute no-brainer play here to sit both these guys in this game, especially with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. I thought, last week maybe Jonnu would be a security blanket. It looks so terrible. They should honestly flex this game out and put someone else in here for Monday night. I don't like anything here in this game at tight end. The 1-2 Cleveland Browns are headed in to face the 1-2 the Raiders in Las Vegas. And it looks like, as of right now, David Njoku, again, this is not official. Make sure you're checking the updates today. I'm going to pull it up as I'm reading it right now just to give you a live feed here. Njoku didn't practice Wednesday, and we don't have any update yet today for Thursday. I would assume they said like a 3 to 4 week absence, so I think he's going to be out, even though he wasn't, smashed on IR. He should be out for this game as well here. Now, if I'm looking at Jordan Akins, right? I mean, he had that one good punt or one good game where he saw a couple targets early in the game. This is actually not a bad Raider defense versus the tight end. I'm not starting Jordan Akins in this game. They've allowed 0 points in the red zone, tied for first, 28.6 points on the season. 18th, that ranks them overall, and they've given up 158 yards on 13 targets. They're actually good versus the tight end this season, and I'm not starting Akins either way. If Njoku was out there, guys, so again, if Njoku is there this weekend, I'm putting him in green. He's a top 10 tight end start always, no matter what the matchup is with how bad the tight end position is. Heading over to the Raiders side, this should be a bounce-back game for Brock Bowers here. He should feast. The Cleveland Browns defense is not good versus the tight end. They're underneath half middle of the tier. They're at 14th right now, but they have given up 0 points in the red zone, so they really stingy up in the red zone. They've given up 22.3 points on the season, again ranking 14th, 10 receptions, 123 yards, no touchdowns yet. But Brock Bowers is an elite, phenomenal tight end. This should be a big play game for him. And the Browns defense, man, they got shredded by the New York Giants last week. So, and I thought, Malik Neighbors was going to be able to sit him, and Devin Singletary. The Browns defense is not the same without Myles Garrett out there. And this is just going to be, I hope the Raiders get this win here, man. I would like to see, and it's crazy to say, is I want to see Jameis Winston open up this Browns offense. Deshaun Watson looks bad, man. The 0-3 Bengals are in for a must-win game here against the Carolina Panthers, the revenge game for Andy Dalton. And I'm going to stick with my sleeper call here, guys. If you watched any of my other videos, my rankings, my tight end videos, stuff like that, I like Mike Gesicki and Eric All this week. I like Jamar Chase. I like T. Higgins. I like all of them. One is going to pop here from the tight ends. Eric All's snap share has been going up. He was a rookie that was drafted in the 4th round out of Iowa U. Shout out to Iowa U. They're my squad. And if you look at it, his targets have gone up 0, 4 to 4. So he got average same targets 2 to 3 weeks here. But if he wasn't injured in the draft, man, he would have been taken in the 2nd round. This is a phenomenal athlete that fell in the draft because of an injury in college. Now, when you're looking at the Carolina Panthers versus the tight end, guys, there you go. 15.9 points given up in the red zone, dead last in the NFL, ranks 32nd. 41.1 points on the season to the tight end position, ranks 29th. 14 receptions, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's through 3 games, guys. This could be a big game for either Gesicki or All. All snap share is going up. Gesicki's is kind of dropping. He did have that breakout game versus the Chiefs, but the Chiefs is also the worst versus the tight end, so I called that game as well. Heading to the Panthers side here, Jatavion Sanders. It doesn't even matter if I even look at the Bengals stats versus the tight end position. If you are in a Dave Canales system, who's the head coach, who was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, I mean, you could look at K. Dotton last year. He ran 97% of the snaps. He was the number 1 usage tight end, and he did nothing. And you're in the same situation here with Jatavion Sanders. I liked him out of Texas being a rookie, but in the Dave Canales system, they just do not target the tight end. Even with Thielen out, I'm not even looking at him. You know, you'll probably see Xavier Legette step in, and they just do not target the tight end in the system, and it really, really sucks. But if I was going to, break down a quick look at the Bengals defense, they rank 12th versus the tight end, only giving up 99 yards of the year. So it's not a great matchup. It's not a bad matchup. It's middle tier, but I don't like it. The Chiefs get the game they need defensively versus the tight end position. They're going up against the Chargers this week. And Travis Kelce, man, I don't know if Father Time has kicked in here, or it is just the Rashee Rice show, or he's worried about being a celebrity and a Swiftie, or what is going on. But this is the last time I'm putting him as a stardom. This should be a volume-based, perfect play matchup here, because you might have Easton Stick at quarterback. And the Chargers defense is great, but where the Chargers defense is weak is versus the tight end position. So in the red zone, they've also given up 0. They stingy up in the red zone, but on the season, they've given 30.7 points. That ranks 22nd, 18 receptions, 127 yards in 3 games. So they're averaging about, 42, 43 yard per game average. I'm doing it in my head. So still not great, but when you have Easton Stick out there, they're not going to move the ball that much, and the Kansas City defense should eat, and there should be opportunities here a ton. Could also be a Carson Steele game, but I expect him to get Travis Kelce going in like a freebie win game here. The Chargers are beat up across the board. 2 starting linemen out, 1 defensive star out. It's not going to be great here for the Chargers this week. Now, on the Chargers side, this would be like the perfect, beautiful matchup, right? Whatever tight end starts against the tight end, this is the worst team in the NFL versus the tight end. But again, Herbert, they don't pass heavy. They run the hardball run game, and Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly, I'm not starting. But I do like a DFS dart throw on Hayden Hurst this week. But again, it's not great with your quarterback situation that they have going on. Herbert, they said they might hold out to the bye. He's trying to fight to get back out there to play. But guys, look at the Chiefs, man. If you have a tight end that plays the Chiefs, so look ahead in your schedule, look at your waiver wire, look whatever tight end's available. The Chiefs defense is horrid versus the tight end. So giving up 1.9 in the red zone, that ranks 19th. 66.5 points on the season to the tight end position. That ranks 32nd. That is 22 points a game to the tight end position they give up. Now, for an example here, the number 1 team would be the Philadelphia Eagles, who give up 6. That is almost quadruple that. So this is a very, very bad team versus tight end. They've given up 335 yards to the position. That's also the worst of the NFL, and a touchdown to go along with it. So everything would look perfect here against them, but it's Hayden Hurst and Dissly and Easton Stick. So I just can't do it. But man, the Chiefs are very, very bad versus tight end, guys. Yes. Kyle Pitts week is here. He is my tight end 1 on the week, but we'll get to it in a second. The Saints are marching into the Falcons in Hotlanta this week. Now, you're not going to want to start any single player versus the Falcons versus the tight end, I don't think, all year long. They're very good versus the tight end, guys. 0 in the red zone, 19.4 points per game on the season, ranks 8th, 84 yards, and they played 3 juggernaut teams to start. So think about that for a second. They've played absolute playoff teams, and they've locked down every single tight end position. that, like I've been saying throughout all my videos, this defense is starting to gel. It is going to be a very good defense to hold down the stretch here because they've had an absolute insane, brutal schedule. And I'm not starting Jawan Johnson or Taysom Hill this week. Now, Kyle Pitts is my tight end one on the year, or on the week. Now, why? Dallas Goedert just went for 170 yards against the Saints last week. They have Lattimore back. He will be on Drake London. And look at the New Orleans Saints here, guys. So also giving up 0 in the red zone. So very stingy there as well through 3 weeks, but 38.7 points on the season to the tight end position. That ranks 28th, 217 yards and 17 receptions. That is the second most yards given up to the tight end. And again, Goddard just popped on him big here. And you got to think this is the Kyle Pitts game. That's why I have him ranked 1. All the matchups here point to Kyle Pitts having a smash week this week. And I know he caught that 50-yard bomb last week and got tackled at the 1. It cost him in a couple fantasy leagues as well. I lost some close matchups there. I didn't like that. But they're getting this guy going. Kirk is looking better off the Achilles. He's starting to find a little rhythm in the offense. And I think the Falcons are just surviving this gauntlet they're going through. So their schedule is going to get easier, guys. And they're going to start mopping people up. And I think Kyle Pitts has a monster game. And he is my tight end 1 this week. FaZe Murray is headed in to face JD5 at home in Arizona. The matchup, I cannot wait to see the 2 running quarterbacks that are going to be absolutely electric. But here's what's interesting in this game. I'm still going to put them both as a stardom this week. So we don't even know if McBride is out there yet. Obviously, you could look at Tip Ryman if you want the rookie backup. I don't think maybe a dart throw if Trey McBride's out with the concussion. So make sure you're paying attention to the injury updates come here Thursday and Friday. Now, Zach Ertz, man, they will not let Benson out there for some reason. I don't understand. I should just put him in red, or actually, I'll just turn his bar off right now until he gets out there. Man, he looks so good in the preseason, and they're still using his 36-year-old, but now they're 2-1. So now Benson's chances just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse here. And in this game, it would look like a full out, which I think is going to be a shootout game. Dude, the Commanders defense and the Arizona Cardinals defense both rank inside the top 11 versus the tight end, which is interesting. And the Commanders have given up 0 points in the red zone, 19.4 points in total, and they rank 8th. Now think about how bad their defense is overall. It's the worst defense in the NFL all around, yardage, touchdowns, everything. But they lock up the tight end. But this is Trey McBride. If Trey McBride's out there, I'm starting this guy no matter what every single week. It doesn't matter. He's my tight end 1 on the season. And the tight end position has just been such a nightmare. You're not sitting this guy. And then I head to the to the Washington side, and I look at Arizona's defense, and you're thinking Arizona's defense is very bad. Yeah, they are. But against the tight end, they're not. They've given up 0 points. They rank first there. They've given up, 0 points in the red zone, rank first there. 20 points on the season, rank 11th there. Only 116 yards on the season, averaging about 37 yards. Not great. But again, Zach Ertz is seeing volume in this offense. And Terry McLaurin has now found a little rhythm here as well. And with how bad the tight end position is, you can't sit these guys, even though the matchup isn't great. Because I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair game. Because the defenses aren't good. And I expect one of these guys to maybe pop a touchdown here. And I think it's going to be like a 30-plus game here. 32, 35. Both these quarterbacks run like crazy. It's one of these games I cannot wait to see. But again, you have to pay attention to the Trey McBride injury update. Today is going to be very telling for the concussion. So this is Thursday morning. This video is recorded, so I haven't seen the update yet, just so you guys know. So make sure you pay attention. The 3-0 Justin Fields-led Steelers are headed into the Colts this week, and this is going to be a smash Pat Freiermuth game. And finally, the first game where the Steelers don't have a top defense they're playing against this year. This is their first breath of fresh air where they can actually pop off. I have Pickens on a smash. I have Fields on a smash. And Pat Freiermuth is going to be a smash as well. And here's why. The Indianapolis Colts defense, guys, gives up 10.8 points in the red zone. That ranks 29th. They give up 36.8 on the season. That ranks 26th. They've given up 138 yards and a touchdown on the season. They are very, very bad versus the tight end, guys. This should be a Pat Freiermuth eat smash game. And I absolutely love him in this game 100% here. He's a smash start for me over a lot of tight ends this week. The Colts side, do we even need to talk about any of the tight ends on the Colts side? Oops, Molly Cox is up top. It doesn't matter. He's all red anyways. And you're playing the Steelers. You don't play anybody versus Steelers defense. But if there's a bit of a bright spot to playing the Steelers defense is everything they have against wide receivers or running backs is in the top 4. I think it's 4 and 2 is what they rank, right? But versus the tight end, they rank 16th. But this is not the game for these Colts tight ends to do anything in this game. These are not tight ends you're even looking at. They're on your waiver wire. But they've given up 26 points in the season, and they give up 8.2 in the red zone versus the tight end, which is also ranking 24th. So this is the Steelers' weak spot of the defense, is the tight end position through the first 3 weeks. But again, you have to like temper these numbers, man. They played Kyle Pitts. They played so many good matchups in a row, and their defense still balled out. This is a defense you don't start anybody against, I think, all season long. The steel curtain is for real this year. The 1-2 Rams, coming off a huge win versus the 49ers. What a comeback. I'm still mad about it. Are headed into Chicago Soldier Field this week. And this is going to be the game you're going to want to listen to the mind work here on this one, right? This is why you subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. So in this game, Colby Parkinson is going to be a smash start for me at tight end. And you're going to be like, oh, the Bears defense, I don't think I want to do that. The Bears defense is good. It's a great overall defense, but you have to look at this number right here. The Bears defense ranks 30th in the red zone versus the tight end with 11.3 points. You have no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. You saw last week they had really no one to go to except Tutu Atwell on bombs. They couldn't figure out the offense. Colby Parkinson was out there the most snaps last week. He's been out there the most snaps since week 1. He's playing 90% of the snaps. He's an actual viable startable tight end. And his targets went up last week finally. So you saw a little connection with Matt Stafford there. And the matchup here is great just in the red zone, though, guys. The Bears are very good outside the red zone versus the tight end. They've given up 25 points. They're not very good. They're middle of the pack, 15th, 109 yards and a touchdown. So averaging about 34 yards a game at the tight end position. But I like this play here this week a lot for Colby Parkinson. Higbee still on IR, nothing to talk about there. Now, for this one right here, everyone is going to rush to the waiver wire and go grab Cole Kmet, and it all looks great. He's tied in 3 on the season. He popped a 27-point game. He had 11 targets last week. Dude, that's an outlier, guys. So we're going to do this mid-game right here, right now. I'm not starting Cole Kmet this week. I just don't think it's there. And look at this why. Here's the matchup. So the matchup is beautiful. The Rams have given up 10 points in the red zone, ranking 27th. 43.3 points on the season, ranking 30th. 14 targets, 173 yards, and a touchdown. The yardage they've given up is the third most for the tight end position in the NFL. Everything looks great here for Cole Kmet. But you have Keenan Allen back in the lineup now. And if you look back at week 1, when Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore are out there, Cole Kmet had 1 target, guys. 1. Keenan Allen had 11. So now you're seeing the flip of Cole Kmet getting 11 targets, and everyone's going to rush and start him because it looks so great, because that's how fantasy football works, and he popped so many points last week. The matchup is great too, but I'm just saying temper your expectations on this game because Keenan Allen is going to be back out there. He practiced Wednesday. Again, if he's not out there, so let's say Keenan's not out there, then you can smash this play with Cole Kmet. But with Keenan Allen out there, he will be the security blanket, and it's just a different looking offense. So you have to watch out for that this week in fantasy football, guys. A big division rival game is here. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-0. They are headed to Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love looks like he's going to be back and playing this week, guys. The injury update yesterday was he almost made it to week 3, and he's moving better this week already. So all signs point to, you've seen his props up on if you gamble or anything like that. Usually when Vegas has the props up, that player is going to play as well. Now, in this game, you got a little good news here on the Viking side here. Oops, I went to the wrong one. TJ Hawkinson, it looks like he's gonna be practicing next week, should be back week 7. So if he's on your bench, that you play a 10-man or on the waiver wire on your 10-man league or something like that, or time to buy low right now, the time is right now to buy low on TJ Hawkinson, because as it draws closer and closer and closer, that owner is not going to want to do it. So try and pick on a team that has 1-2 or 0-3 or something right now, and give him a little bit here for Hawkinson, because Sam Darnold looks damn good, and they're going to get Addison back this week too. And it's just going to be a nightmare offense to stop from there on out, man. They're for real. Josh Oliver or Johnny Munt, I'm not even going to put on here. I don't like them starting this week. You're going up against the Green Bay Packers, even though they're weak versus the tight end, right? They've given up 8.8 points on the season, 37.2, which ranks 27th. They've given up 16 receptions, 152 yards, and a touchdown. But they didn't have their quarterback for 2 weeks, so the numbers are skewed here, guys. I mean, these are the things you have to know behind the scenes in fantasy football. When Malik Willis is out there, their defense is out there more. I know they pounded the run against the Colts for 52 times as well to keep them off the field, but still, it's just different when your quarterback's gone and the numbers are, and they played a lot of tough opponents as well. Now, on the Green Bay side here, with Love back, I do like Tucker Kraft better as the option. I just think Jordan Love likes him better. I think he's a better tight end from what I've watched in tape and watched in games. And this is a good spot. Everyone looks at the Vikings defense like it's the number 1 fantasy defense. That is because the blitz packages and sacks they get and turnovers they get. they are very weak versus the pass in every area. Wide receiver, tight end. They've given up 10.3 points in the red zone to the tight end position. That ranks 28th. They've given up 32.4 points to the tight end position. That ranks 23rd. They've given up 134 yards and a touchdown. So the opportunity is here. I just don't trust these guys on Jordan Love's first game back here. And yeah, they could, one of them could pop, but I don't know which one it's going to be. I want to see again how it looks with them all healthy out there this week, because you can't really tell with Malik Willis how the offense even looked. So I would say if you need a dart throw, possibly, but I don't love it. The Philadelphia Eagles, led by Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. Looks like we're going to have no A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith this week, especially with the Eagles having a bye on week 5. I think they would be smart and hold up their superstars, especially getting the big win being 2-1. Now, Dallas Goedert coming off an absolute monster game last week, 170 yards against the Saints. He went absolutely nuclear. Now you get the Tampa Bay defense here. But the Tampa Bay defense, guys, and Dallas Goedert, you got to think about it like this too. A.J. Brown and Devonta are out. Should be the focal point of this offense. The Tampa defense versus the tight end ranks 4th. They've given up 13 points, only 60 yards on the season, and 0 points in the red zone as well. So even with them out, this is going to be a tough matchup for Dallas Goedert. That's why I'm all over Saquon Barkley everything this week. I think this man is going to go for 300 yards and 50 points. He's going to carry him all the way. But heading down to, I'm still going to put it as a start. So I don't like the matchup. If you look at the numbers, it's not good here on paper. But you have 2 guys out, so you got to think that they can move him around, move him in the slot, move him outside, whatever it is, to get him more involved in this game. But the Bucks linebackers are very good at covering the tight end. The safeties up top are nice as well. Now on the Bucks side here, Kate Otten is that guy that he's number 1 in the snap share right now. Again, just like last year, he's 92% tied with Conklin. And then he goes off for a 7-target game here, or 8-target game with 7 receptions last week. But now you get the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Philadelphia Eagles are number 1 versus the tight end. So we are not even going to put Kate Otten as a color. It's just do not play him. I don't have a red behind him. It should be a sit. But the Eagles have given up 1.8 in the red zone. That ranks 18th. But look at this, guys. They've given up 6.9 points in total to the tight end position. That is number 1. That is 3 receptions and 39 yards. They are averaging 13 yards a game to the tight end position. Get Kate Otten out of your lineups if you're thinking that he had a big week last week. It is not happening this week, guys.